Hello friends, and welcome to Figure Study, where, well, we're not looking at Tobots this time, but it's still kind of in the same vein, taking a look at the Mini-Force X Raybot. I know even less about this than I do about any of the Tobots that I cover. I just saw this and thought it looked really cool, so I got it. That's pretty much all there is to it. It's just that simple. And first off, let me just say, this is a cool car mode. I forget what car it is. I think it's like a brand of Cadillac or something like that that has this like very kind of boxy but still concept car kind of look to it. But this reminds me of that, and it looks really cool. I really, really like this car mode. There's not a whole lot to it until you start looking at the details, because it's a whole lot of black and not much else. And looking at the box art, I have been tempted to go in here and paint different parts of it. It's just that some of these sections would be white, and doing white paint on black plastic, that would be really difficult to get to coat evenly. And yeah, I'm still not sure if I'm going to do any kind of customizing on this thing or not. But regardless, as I said, it's pretty much black all the way around with some details picked out, which we'll get to in a minute. Though I do like that the windows are slightly different in terms of shading. Like, it makes the car look a little bit almost like gray in comparison, which is nice. I mean, this does kind of blend in a little bit, but when you've got some nice lighting, then you can see that there is actually a difference. They did paint the rim silver, which I very much appreciate, and then also looking at some of the detail along the top here, you've got some kind of... It's sort of between copper and gold. I'm not entirely sure what the deal is here. It's like, it looks like it's gold, but it also has a slight bronze sheen to it. And along the back, you've got these very large wing things coming off, and you can pop them off, but they kind of... like, there's still this big bump back here that's kind of unsightly, so it's fine. Really, I'm kind of more focused on this part of the car looking cool anyway. Along the back, it's a bunch of robot junk and no actual coloring, so that's a shame. Though these kind of look like thrusters, but again, not really colored, just purple plastic. But then looking at it from the front, that's where all the coloring of the car mode goes in. There's just lots of nice silver and that kind of bronzy gold. And in some cases, it's kind of intermittent, like kind of alternates back and forth. And this is cool. You got like the X for Mini-Force X, I assume, and it's a neat front section of a car. It's a cool looking car. I do think this car mode looks very cool. I do very much like the look of this car mode. It's also big. For example, it is monstrous when put next to a Transformers Siege Deluxe. And it's also much larger than the duck tank. Okay, let's get that transformation underway. Now, the interesting thing about Raybot here, aside from him just having a really cool car mode, is he's actually a triple changer. We're going to do the other mode before we do the robot mode. Gotta pop these off. There we go. That's a little difficult to do. There we go. Okay, where to begin? I guess first thing to do is to extend this section. That just pulls right out. And to push it back in, you have to push these buttons, and that will release the catch and allow you to push it back in. But there, it clicks into place. Then I'm going to flip this up so we can flip these down. There we go. And I'm just gonna push those up so that they're out of the way. Then split the front and pull it all the way out. And I'll just bring those down a little bit. Okay. So next thing is popping this section up. And that will swing back. And there's this little tab in here that'll tab over this. In theory. Should clip on. There we go. Then we bring these in. And straighten those out. And these will clip in right here. And you got one for each side. There we go. And go. I'm going to flip down these claws. And lastly, pop open this. There we go. And flip out the bird head. Yes. Raybot turns into a very, very iffy bird. I think maybe an eagle or something. And this thing looks really dumb. It really, really looks dumb. It can clean up a little bit if you tilt, like spin these around. It's not great. But it kind of smooths it out a little bit, doesn't show all that unsightly stuff. And yeah, this thing is, it's not great looking. The tail's okay. It's a bit long and overly involved, but yeah, this is a really not super great looking bird. Let me pull this back even further so we can get a little bit more of a look at it. And I mean, it's big. It's got quite the wingspan. For example, the Siege Deluxe is under one of its wings, so quite big. And at least as far as the wingspan goes, it's way bigger than the duck tank. It's weird. It's very, very weird. There's no denying that. Most of the revealed details is just stuff that's going to be in robot mode anyway, so we'll deal with that later. But the head's not bad. It does look very adequately robo-birdie, and there's some nice color variation in there. I particularly like the silver on the sides mixed with the black and the gold, coppery gold. Like, the green eyes don't stand out super well, but hey, there's something. I also like the vents up here that are in that. This is actually plastic. It's not painted, but I like those with like the purple trim. That looks nice. The talons are kind of whatever. From the front, they look okay, if a little long. And from the side, they just look bad. And the tail, again, looks kind of, it's all right, but I think a bit narrow here, and I don't think it needs to fan out like that, especially since with the talons, this is probably like a bird of prey. I don't think it necessarily needs particularly large plumage in the back, but I'm not really a biologist, so I don't know. But of course, the big thing with this is the wings are just chunks of car, which is not super effective. It's fine. I mean, it's bad, but it's fine. I think considering the fact that this is just sort of a middle mode that I don't really care about, it's fine. It's okay that the feature's there. I do obviously think that it would have been better if, say, some of this engineering went into the robot mode as opposed to this third mode that is just meh. But I'm sure there is significance to this third mode. I just don't know what it is because I don't follow the show. But anyway, let's get him into an actual robot, like humanoid robot. So I'm going to fold these up. I'm going to open this up so we can flip the head back in. And turn these back how they were. Push these up. And, okay, got to disconnect these. Pull this out, which, there we go. Just pushing up will make it pop off. And this folds back around and will clip back into place there. And we straighten these bits out again. Okay, so going to reattach these. This is the, no, had it right the first time. Okay, plug this back on. Yeah, not a fan of the unnecessary parts forming for the bird mode. It's just kind of awkward. So, with that done, now can pull these hood sections back, and there's this little bump here that'll plug in up there. It's not like a locking point, really, but it will hold in place. Then, pull out the feet, and just bring those out a click so he'll stand up. Okay, pull these out. There we go. Rotate them up. Rotate these down, and there you've got arms. Then I'm going to rotate these out, so these kind of extend them out just to get room so that you can rotate them around. You want them facing this way. I'm not entirely sure the best way to orient these. I feel like it's something like having these kind of sticking off there, which is fine, but it takes up a lot of shelf space, so I usually just fold them in like that. But for the sake of the video, I'll just have them out about like that. And I'm going to do the adjustment on this side as well. So extend that, fold it out, rotate it around, and about like that. Okay. And lastly, just pull this out to flip the head around. And there we go. There we have Raybot in robot mode. And Raybot's a little difficult to keep in frame because Raybot's big. He's pretty much Tobot big. But we'll get to that when we get to the size stuff. So this looks awesome. This and the car mode are why I was like, I kind of really want to get that guy. Because this is a really, really cool bot design that, like, the aesthetic for this is very unlike Tobots. Because, I mean, it's not the same company, it's not the same series, so obviously, but, like, this seems more like what I would picture as, like, a, one of those oversized toys for a between kids and older kids Transformers cartoon series. Not that I think we would ever get anything like this at mass retail in the US because it's constructed extremely well. And I don't mean that as a knock against Hasbro or anything. It's just the fact that, manufacturing costs and whatnot. I feel like there's no way that Hasbro could produce something like this, of this size, of this quality, and not lose a ton of money in the process. But anyway, this looks spectacular. I don't know anything about the show, I don't know anything about the character, but this looks great. It has kind of a Gundam-y, super robot-y vibe to it, which I really like. The color breakup is nice. It could definitely be better, especially with what I've seen from the... there's like a photo of a custom job that someone did that actually added elbows, which I wish this guy had. And they added some extra detailing and stuff like that. And I think it'd be really cool to do something like that myself. And I still might go in and do some silver detailing and gold detailing on here. But again, the big swaths of like white and stuff, I don't think I could really do. But even without all that, the color breakup here is nice because it's just there's this nice variation of black and gold and white pretty much throughout. And then you've got these little bits here, like up here of purple showing through. I like also the fact that the rear wheels and wheel wells of the car become his shoulders, and now he's just got these wheels like front and center on there. It's a cool design element. Oh, I screwed up. I missed one thing in the transformation. Incidentally, you can kind of see back there the molded detail in there, but these bits actually come out a click. Don't really understand why. I think maybe it just kind of makes it look like his it's got like maybe a cape or something, or maybe it just cleans up the silhouette a little more, but that's a thing that happens. Anyway, yeah, there's actually some decent molded detail in there. I like the fact that his feet have these like implied toe claws that ties into the third, the tertiary bird mode that is probably important in the show, and I don't think looks very good. Just like some more venting detail, some nice kind of, it almost looks like armored shin guards in there, or knee guards. You got some detailing going up the leg. The whole torso area is very, very nicely detailed. Again, got kind of a super robot-y vibe there, and I like the gold plastic Superman diamond shape there. Some nice molding and coloring on the arms, and some nice molding up here too, which again, I feel like it'd be even better if I could go in there and paint some of that. I just don't feel like the paint would coat very well. And even the insides of these wings here have some nice molding. As for the head, again, it's sort of got like a featureless super robot kind of vibe to it. And the face, I mean, is featureless. It's a robot mouth plate with some purple eyes that you can barely see in there. Though the eyes do stand out by virtue of the fact that they're kind of sandwiched between gold and silver. And that is a very ornate gold crest on the head there. It's got this, winged kind of thing that totally, I think, aesthetically works with the idea that he turns into a bird. And then he's got these little ear swoops on the back that are also a different color, and this doesn't really lock in, but it's fine. And yeah, it's a neat head design. It's a neat robot design. I like the fact that the head can actually turn a little bit. The way I typically have him posed on the shelf is I have like one leg twisted out and his head turned, so it kind of looks like he's standing kind of relaxed, but at the same time ready for action, I guess. I don't know. I think it looks cool. But yeah, this guy is very, very neat. And while he's simple, as most of these bots tend to be, he is very cool, very effective, and I appreciate the fact that he's got 3 completely different modes. And the fact that the robot actually pays homage to both of the other modes, because you've got like the obvious car bits on the shoulders, but then you've got the bird bits with the toes. This skirt was the bird tail, so that kind of homages it, and the head crest. It's a cool combination of elements, and the color scheme is really nice. As far as height goes, as I said, he's basically Tobot size, so he's quite tall. quite tall. And of course, he dwarfs the duck tank. And, just for the heck of it, let's bring in a standard-ish Tobot. And so there you have him next to Terrikle, still my favorite Tobot, standalone Tobot. And he is actually a bit taller than Terrikle. I feel like Terrikle's a bit bulkier, particularly in the chest and arms, but still, not a small bot. So yeah, that is gonna do it for Mini-Force X Raybot, a bot that I did not know existed until a few months ago. And yeah, very, very cool. As I said, it's a great combination of colors. I feel like if I didn't know that there were details that needed to be painted in, I probably wouldn't feel compelled to do it. And yeah, I mean, it's obviously the articulation's limited, the transformation is relatively simple, but he's got 3 modes, which is pretty cool, even if one of them's kind of dumpy. But it's fine. Just standing there like that, he looks pretty darn awesome. So what do you all think of Raybot here? Is this the first time any of you are hearing of this guy, or were you aware of him before? And if you're familiar with Mini-Force, what do you think of the other figures in the line? Because some of them I think look kind of cool as standalones, but both of the combiners I'm kind of on, both for structural reasons and just for aesthetics. And for any of you who either have or are interested in Tobots and other Korean giant transforming toy things, how do you think this guy stacks up to Tobots? Or Bi-Clones, or any of the other staples? Whatever your thoughts, feel free to chime in down below. I always enjoy hearing from you all. And while you're at it, also feel free to like, subscribe, or if you're feeling generous, you can buy me a coffee. There will be a link in the description below. Any of those things would make me a happy Rob. Remember, art is more than meets the eye.